What up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, and we're here to present you our MLB on deck for Thursday, March 28th. Hey, opening day baseball. Super excited, man. Yeah, so hey, got a lot of things going on right now. If you haven't already, it's your last chance tomorrow. You can tomorrow's the last day for our promo code MLB50. So go, hey, get that MLB package. Hey, a lot of things going on. How you doing out there, Jay?
Yo, what up, man?
Hey, not much, man. Ready to talk some baseball. Super excited.
Absolutely.
Hey, I know baseball is your favorite sport, so I know you're ready to go.
I'm ready to get into it, man. This is my absolute favorite sport. I've had the most success. I've taken down the most tournaments in baseball. I love DFS baseball.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, you want to touch a couple things that we got going on the site real quick before we jump into this?
Yeah, so look, real quick, I'll just put you guys up on what we have going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on the site right now. We have NASCAR, the setup, and Victory Lane pieces. The setup is up right now. It's a preview of this weekend's race, NASCAR race on Sunday at Texas Motor Speedway. We have an MMA piece inside the Octagon previewing the UFC Fight Night on ESPN2. PGA is up right now. Tee times are about 4.5 hours away, I believe, 5 hours away in Punta Cana. So make sure you read the Tee to Green piece before you build any lineups there. We have NHL content, MLB. We have all kinds of content we're about to put up. And then we keep rolling out the same NBA stuff. So all of this stuff is about to move behind our member wall. So if you've been coming and checking the site out and following us on social media and checking that stuff out, it's been up for free. It's going to remain, the majority of it will remain free, but you will not be able to view it unless you sign up for at least a free membership to the site.
Yeah, so hey, I'm excited. I'm ready to talk some baseball for sure.
And one last thing I'll say, the MLB content is the first content we're going to put behind the paid wall. So you guys take advantage of, you just have a little bit of time to take advantage of the MLB 50 and get 6 months of baseball at a much, much reduced price than everybody else is going to get it after the fact. And again, all of the MLB content is going to be going behind the paid wall first.
Yeah, and hey, the crazy part about it is I can't believe that when you get our package with us, our MLB package, not only do you get, it's not just MLB. That's all not you're paying for. You're getting everything that we got. So I mean, it's an absolute steal. So hey, go check it out. Yeah, let's go, man. I mean, we're going to start off with some pitchers. We'll start with some pitchers that we like. I mean, that's really where we'll start, and then we'll work our way down to some of the team stacks that we're going to be looking at. We will probably go a little bit more in-depth game by game as the season goes along, but this is opening day. We got 14 games. It's a lot of stuff to look at. So we're just going to kind of narrow it down a little bit and kind of get you guys ready for tomorrow morning, man. So, yeah, man, the first pitcher that I'm going to talk about, it is actually going to be it's going to be Max Scherzer going against, the Mets. So check it out. I mean, the Mets, they actually have, upgraded lineup. We see that now they got Robinson Cano in the lineup. He's a really good hitter. There's a couple guys that actually have good numbers against Max Scherzer. So 11.7, the reason why we're going to look at Max Scherzer, he's a guy that's going to get us at least 10 strikeouts. And he has upside to get us 12 strikeouts in 5 innings. The bad part about all these guys that we're going to pay up for is it's opening day. They're not going to make these guys go super deep in the game. But I can see a lot of these guys, pitching to the 6th and kind of being done. Even if their pitch count is down, there's no reason to really overwork them first game of the season. Scherzer is in play. I think he's a pretty good cash game play. I think he can definitely give you, like I said, a solid floor. And there's going to be a ton of value on the board. My next pitcher that I'm going to talk about, I'm actually going to stay in this game. I mean, you got to look at him. DeGrom, he was, him and Scherzer were right there neck and neck, 1 and 2 in the Cy Young race. And them guys are both really, really good pitchers. Washington Nationals, we know they lost Bryce Harper. They still got some really good hitters in that lineup, but it's not a lineup that we're extra scared about, especially when you got a pitcher like Jacob DeGrom. So I definitely think that if you're going to pay up, I think those are the 2 guys that I personally really like paying up for tomorrow. Both definitely give you K upside. Both teams, the lineups are decent, but there's nothing to really worry about. They're not going against like a Yankees or a Houston, a super stacked lineup. So yeah, man, that's really where I'm gonna start. I mean, my first two pitchers I'm gonna talk about. I think if you're gonna pay up, you can look at DeGrom and Scherzer. So go ahead, and if you want to kind of get us going with what you got going.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to a game that features the AL Cy Young Award winner from last year, Blake Snell, going against Justin Verlander. I'm actually going to take the Verlander side of this. And the reason I'm going to do that is because, for one, Houston has a much better offensive lineup than Tampa Bay has, right? So both of them really solid pitchers, obviously. But you have to give an edge in this one to the bats of Houston over Tampa Bay. So, this could be a situation where it's a 1-0 game and both these guys get a quality start and neither one of them gets a win. Or, I could totally see Snell going 6 in this game, Verlander going 6, and it being 1-0 Houston and or 1-0 Tampa Bay, and the bullpen for Tampa Bay giving up the win for Snell. So it's a situation I could see play out. I just think that the Houston bats give the advantage to Verlander in this one. You can't say enough about Verlander coming off a really good season. So that's kind of the first guy that I'm going to go with is Justin Verlander.
Yeah, for sure. Who you got for us next?
So the other guy, I'll go here with I'll go with the wild card pick that we were talking about first. So a guy that I also really like that I think is a little bit off the board is Kyle Freeland. Another guy. Look, Kyle Freeland. He had a really decent season last year, and the thing about this guy is that he pitches for Colorado, and the first thing that people think about when you're talking about the Colorado Rockies is the ballpark and a lot of runs given up, and people don't like to target as a whole. They don't like to target pitchers for Colorado, but this guy had a really solid season. He started 33 games last year, 202 innings pitched, and he gave up 182 hits and 202 and a third innings pitched. So his hits were less than the innings he pitched. 64 earned runs in that. He had a WAR of 8.4. So you start looking at what his WHIP was and what his ERA was. 1.35 WHIP, 3.39 ERA going against the Miami team, and we know what Miami's doing. Miami is rebuilding, right? I mean, they've traded pieces away over the last 2 years. Just got rid of Realmuto this year. The year before, they got rid of Stanton. They got rid of Marcell Ozuna. They do have a really good farm system that they've built with all of these picks and prospects they've got back in trades, but that's what this team is. They may be competitive this year. They may be a 500 team, but Kyle Freeland is a really good pitcher. He's going into Miami. It's a big ballpark. I really think that Kyle Freeland is an off-the-radar play.
Yeah, I think that the guy I think is a good play. We definitely talked about him, man. The next guy that I'm going to go with Tanaka for the Yankees. I mean, it's easy. Tanaka's he's the biggest favorite on the board tomorrow. I mean, he's going against a Baltimore's team that was 47-15. They lost Machado last year. This in the offseason, they lost Adam Jones. Their only all-star they had left. I mean, they didn't add nobody. They're not going to be a very good team. Yankees they're going to put up a bunch of runs against Cashner.
Hey, bro, just real quick, because it sounded like you said they were 47-15. You meant 47-115, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, 47-115. Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, hey, they weren't a very good team though. And like I said, they don't have no Adam Jones anymore. There's nothing to really be scared of. And this is a spot where I'm not going to say Tanaka's going to go out there and just have a crazy game and be the highest scoring pitcher on the slate. I think he's going to give you a solid floor at a 9,400 price tag. I think he can get a quality start. I definitely think he can get a win. So I think he's a good mid-tier player that you can put, and it'll help you get some big bats. I mean, there's some guys that we're definitely going to want to fit in tomorrow.
Right, exactly. On a 14-game slate, you have to look for ways to fit in these stacks.
For sure. So go ahead and round us off with your final pitcher.
So I'm going to go with Berrios, and you take a look at what the first thing I'm going to mention is, you take a look at what he did last year against Cleveland. He was 1-0 with a 4.24 ERA. He did give up 8 runs, 8 earned runs, 12 hits over that span, and it was in 3 starts. So he had 2 no decisions and 1 win with a 4.24 ERA. you take a look at what Berrios did last year, and he had some spots where he was extremely impressive, right? 25 games started, 145 and 2/3 innings pitched. And again, he had 131 hits that he gave up, so less hits than innings pitched. You like to see that. A 1.23 whip, 3.89 ERA, and won 14 games while striking out 139. So you like to see that the hits are less than the strikeouts and the innings pitched. I would like to see, this year, I think that we'll see him go with more strikeouts than total innings pitched. I just think that number will be really close. The guy's got electric stuff. He's got an electric slider. He's got an electric fastball, that we know. And then one of the main reasons I like him so much is you talk about Cleveland, and Cleveland's going to have a really difficult time keeping up and staying relevant in this division because of the guys that are injured right now. They're not going to have Kipnis, right? They're not going to have Francisco Lindor. So they've got guys out of this lineup right now. Jose Ramirez is not going to play. So they've got guys that are out of their lineup right now, really the meat of their lineup. They lost Michael Brantley. He's now in Houston. So the game's in Minnesota. It's going to be cooler, and when it's cooler, the air is more dense. The ball doesn't travel as far. So the other thing that I'll combine with that as well is when we talk about these early games, yes, we're talking about pitchers who are probably not going to get complete games right now. They're not going to stretch arms out. It's just the way baseball is right now. These guys are going to be on pitch counts between 90 and 100 pitches. This is a guy that can strike out 7, 8, 9 guys over five innings or 6 innings. So he has a chance to give you a quality start. He's got a chance to get a win and dominate this lineup that's really diminished. And the game is in a colder environment in Minnesota. So I really like Berrios in this spot. I think that the average person is going to, there's 14 games to research here. I think the average person is going to see Berrios versus Cleveland and kind of move on with their day. It's a guy I think, based on price, based on kind of the stigmatism of being against Cleveland. And, we're early in the season, so unless you're really doing your research, you may not know that they don't have Kipnis and that Francisco Lindor has a leg injury and he's out 4 to 6 weeks and Jose Ramirez is not going to play. You may not know Michael Brantley's not there. So diminished Cleveland lineup, the game's in Minnesota, price is elevated. I think people stay off Berrios.
Yeah, no, Berrios he's another guy. I think that Tanaka is more the cash game kind of mid-tier play, and Berrios is kind of like the GPP right in the percent price range.
I think Tanaka is a really, really good cash game play because of the fact that the only thing that worries me with Tanaka is he tends to struggle with his forkball, and that's his strikeout pitch. He tends to struggle with that pitch early in the season.
Right.
But look, this is a Baltimore team that is absolutely terrible.
Hey, so check it out. While we're already in this game, we're going to start with some bats. And I'm just going to get started with my first team that I'm really going to be looking at tomorrow. It's going to be the Yankees, man. I mean, the Yankees going against Cashner. Cashner's a fly ball pitcher in Yankee Stadium. The guy's he's a serviceable pitcher, but he's not a very, very good pitcher. But the guy, he can throw some strikes, he can give you some innings, and that's the reason why he continues to get a job. That's really about it. He's not a very good pitcher, and I expect him to honestly get lit up tomorrow. I'm liking all these Yankees. A couple guys that are really standing out to me though, probably going to be one of the most chalkiest cash game plays on the slate. It is going to be Brett Gardner, 2,700. He's going to be in that leadoff spot. This is just I think he's just a really solid play. I mean, he takes walks, gets you some stolen bases, has a little bit of pop. I like him at the top of this order. So I think he's a good play. That's the guy you want to start with. Next guy that I'm going to be looking at, I like Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez, he didn't have the best year last year, but he has the upside. And we seen in the playoffs, he started to play a little bit better. 3,300 is a very fair price tag for a guy who's going to have a lot of RBI opportunities with Brett Gardner, Judge, and Stanton batting right in front of him. So he's just in a really, really good spot and a really, really good lineup. And you got to really look at him. I think he's a good play. And then you could quickly look at the two outfielders, Judge, Stanton. Both of those guys are solid plays. Judge already has a home run off of Cashner. I like the Yankees all around. The guys have some good numbers as well. So just give you some quick numbers. Gardner's 5 for 21 with the double, 2 stolen bases. Gregorius is another guy I want to mention as well. He has some pretty good numbers. We like lefties, especially with that wall out there and right in Yankee Stadium. Gregorius already has a home run. He's 7 for 22. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a bunch of Yankees that you can look at. I think they're all in play for the most part, but you definitely want to. My rule in baseball is I like to stick more in the top six of the lineup. That in cash games, that's kind of what I like to do. And you like to, get guys that are, if you can, in the top two if they're really good prices. So yeah, man, like I said, it's Brett Gardner, Sanchez, Stanton, Judge. Those are my top plays, and then you can look at Gregorius as well. I think he's a good play. DJ LeMahieu, he's 6 for 19 as well, so he has a couple hits also. So that's the first team that I'm gonna be really targeting. Who are you going with first?
So I'm gonna go with the Cubs, but the first thing I'm gonna mention is I actually like both sides of this game. I like Texas a little bit too. I think Texas is a great tournament stack that nobody will be on because it's a 14-game slate and it's Texas. But let me just point out a couple of things. One, the wind's blowing in from right field at 17 miles per hour. That's what the forecast is. And people will look at that and think the wind's blowing in at 17 miles per hour. It's not blowing. People look for the wind to blow out. A lot of people don't realize is, and you can do your research on this if you want, but there is actually a effect, the way that stadium was built, that behind home plate, they have something that's kind of built in there that redirects the wind. So as the wind is blowing in, it's actually blowing out. So you look for the wind when you're targeting the stadium. You look to see that the wind is blowing in from right field, because then you know that you've got a wind that's blowing out. So they've got this thing built back there at the top of their stadium that deflects the wind to actually blow out, because the dominant wind there is a wind that blows in from right field. So that's the first thing I'll say. Lester is not that great of a pitcher. He's long in the tooth, as they say, at the end of his career. So I do like both sides of it. But I will say that with Addison Russell being suspended for 40 games, it's a guy you take out of that lineup. They have a predominantly right-hand lineup. Jason Hayward and Kyle Schwarber are the only true left-handed hitters in that lineup. The rest of the guys are either switch hitters or right-handed hitters. So Chris Bryant's the first guy that you have to take a look at. Right-handed pitcher. Mike Minor on the other side of this. Mike Minor, not the best pitcher in the world. He does have better home splits than road splits, but if you look at what he gave up to right-handers as opposed to left-handers last year, he gave up 25 home runs in all. 19 of them were to right-handed hitters. And he's given a 717 OPS, 425 slugging percentage to right-handed hitters. So, I think this is a really good spot for the Cubs. They'll probably be one of the more popular stacks on the day because it is the Cubs. They are going against the Rangers. But like I say, I do like both sides of this, and I think that the Texas bats make for a really good tournament stack.
Yeah, Texas, they gave up. I think it was even more than Coors. I think the most runs were given up in Texas last year altogether. I think I read that somewhere today. But yeah, man, the next team that I like, I think they may be a little bit more GPP, but I mean they're in a really good spot. You got the Blue Jays going against Zimmerman. I mean, let's face it, Zimmerman is old. He's a gas can. Last year, I mean, he's a guy who just throws the ball over the plate and it's going to get hit, and he hopes that it doesn't get hit out the park. That's really where he's at this stage in his career. A couple guys that I really like on the Toronto side of things. You got Justin Smoke. You have Justin Smoke. He's 3 for 9 with 2 doubles and a home run already in his career. He's going to be batting in that cleanup spot, going to get some RBI opportunities at a 3,200 price tag. I think that he's a solid play. Outside of him, a couple guys that really stand out. McKinney, he's projected to be leadoff at 2,500. The guy, he has some stolen base upside. He has a little bit of pop. He's in play for sure. If we're gonna get him, like I said, I think right now we have him projected at the 6th hole. So right now we had him projected at the 6th hole, but I read a couple things that he's going to be in the leadoff spot. So that's something we got to keep an eye on. But if he is in the leadoff spot, 2,500 going against Zimmerman, definitely think that he's a solid play. And then the last guy that I'm really going to look at is the shortstop. Gurriel, I mean, the guy, he's good, and he was showing us glimpses last year. We got to see where he's at in the batting order. If he's in the 7th spot, I don't know if I'll be on that at a 3,000 price tag, but if we see him anywhere in the top 5, top 6, then I definitely think that he's a solid GPP play. But I mean, my favorite play, obviously, for Toronto is Justin Smoke. I definitely think this is a spot where he can hit one out tomorrow. I like him a lot. So that's really where I'm at with Toronto for sure.
Cool.
Go ahead. What you got next for us?
So, look, this is going to be a chalky spot, but it's a team we have to talk about because it's very relevant, and that's the Philadelphia Phillies. All kinds of acquisitions. You know, you could talk about who they've brought into this lineup. You start talking about the big name, and that's Bryce Harper. But, I mean, you talk about you got Andrew McCutchen they brought in. You know, they project him to lead off. You and I were talking about it earlier, and one of the things that's crazy is they got Franco hitting 8th and Cesar Hernandez hitting 7th, I believe, in their confirmed lineup tomorrow. So, you know, you talk about a couple of guys that hit in the middle of that order last year, and they've brought in so many free agents and beefed this lineup so much with the offseason they had that you've got guys that hit in the middle of that order that have moved down. Gene Segura projected. They've actually confirmed this lineup. So Segura will hit 2nd, Bryce Harper in the 3-hole, a huge bat and a really good talent in Reese Hoskins hitting cleanup. And then, you know, I love Real Muto hitting behind Reese Hoskins and Bryce Harper. I think that's a really good opportunity for another guy they brought in. You talk about Julio Teheran, the guy they're going against. Teheran has always pitched better on the road than he has at home. He's one of those reverse splits types guys when you look at that. So he's pitched decently at home. In fact, you know, 3.96 ERA last year at home and a 3.92, so just a little bit better. 5-6 away last year, 4-3 at home. But this is a very small ballpark. You talk about what he's done against Philadelphia, 1-0, but it's a completely different lineup. When you talk about, you know, the stadium, you look at the stadium, 18 2/3 innings pitched last year. He started 3 games at Citizens Bank Park. I'm sorry, he started 1 game at Citizens Bank Park and only pitched 3 innings in that one, giving up 3 earned runs. So some stuff to look at there with Teheran. Another thing that is interesting is one thing that I look at when I'm trying to pick stacks and teams that I want to pick is I want to see what the bullpen has done, because if I'm picking to stack against a team, then I really want to take a look at the bullpen. So the Braves bullpen, I believe that preseason the Braves have the 12th ranked bullpen in Major League Baseball, so they're kind of middle of the pack. It's not like I'm going to be stacking against a team that has the top bullpen like the Yankees do. And look, the Phillies are going to be chalky. People are excited to get behind the Yankees. The Phillies are the number 2 team that people are going to look to stack tomorrow. It's going to be chalky.
Yeah. Hey, that lineup is looking nasty, man. It's looking nasty. My last team I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I mean, they're going against Greinke. I understand that, but the Dodgers, there's so many guys that hit Greinke very, very well in this lineup. I mean, I'm going to start with Seager. Seager's coming back, our shortstop. He got hurt last year. He is expected to be on the lineup tomorrow. 3,400 is a very fair price tag for him. He's 6 for 14 with a double and 2 home runs off Greinke in his career. I think he's a really, really good play at a very good price tag. He's gonna probably going to be back in that 2-hole. You know, so next I'm going to go with Cody Bellinger. 3,600. I mean, they're all fair price tags. He's going to be batting cleanup, 3,600. He is 8 for 20 with 2 doubles and 2 home runs. So when you know, he has a solid history. He has 4 extra base hits. When he hits them, usually hits them pretty hard. Definitely think it's a spot where, you know, opening day he can hit a home run. A couple of these Dodgers are going to hit home runs for sure. It's just really guessing who's going to do it. You know, while I'm in the outfield, I'm going to stick on the Dodgers side of things as well. Jock Peterson, 2,600. Tomorrow, I was reading a couple of little things today about the Dodgers, and tomorrow I think that he's going to be in that cleanup spot. And if that's the case, 2,600. Oh, you got to really like that. If you're getting a guy 2,600, even 2,800, we'll say 2,800 or less in a cleanup spot. I mean, that's always going to be a really, really good value play. You know, cleanup spots, they usually get the most at bats in the game, and that's what you really want in your hitters, try to get you them fantasy points late. So yeah, I mean, Jock is a really good play. Turner too. Turner's a guy who absolutely owns that Greinke. He's 10 for 28 with 2 doubles, 3 So 3 doubles, 1 triple, and 2 home runs. So hey, hits him hard. And then Jock, I didn't tell you guys his numbers, but he's 6 for 22, 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run. So, like I said, you get the point. You have about 5 guys that are hitting 350 with tons of extra base hits off of Greinke. I think that this is a spot. Yes, Greinke is a good pitcher, and he's been a good pitcher for years. But this is just another year. He's a year older. And all these guys that I'm mentioning, they're all young guys. So I like the Dodgers a lot in this spot.
I'm sorry, I was falling asleep, man. You're talking about the fucking Dodgers.
Hey, man.
I could care less. I love the comment that I just saw from Michael Evans talking about you're going with your heart.
I'll go home.
And then as I read that, I couldn't help but laugh to myself when you said a couple of Dodgers are going to hit home runs for sure tomorrow. For sure, like book it. Dodgers are about to just beat Greinke. They're about to just beat Greinke's brains in. Like you just.
No, not his brains in, but I just seen a couple solos, bro. A couple solos.
I am not taking my heart. I am not picking the Giants as the last team I'm going to go with. But
hey, really quick, bro. Hey, the numbers don't lie, right? We always say that, though.
I will just say we do put some emphasis on BVP, but you cannot be a BVP only guy in baseball.
No, for sure.
So with that said, I'm going to go with my last team, and it's going to be the St. Louis Cardinals going against the Milwaukee Brewers. And Chacin, look, Chacin is this guy. He pitched solid for them last year. It's shocking that he's the guy they're rolling out because you don't think of Jules Chacin as an ace by any stretch of the imagination. Five starts last year against the Cardinals. He went 2-2 with a 5.26 ERA. You start looking at this Cardinals lineup, and look, this is pretty much the same lineup they had last year, except, oh, by the way, they added Paul Goldschmidt. So, a left-handed pitcher going against, a Paul Goldschmidt, a Paul DeJong, Marcell Ozuna, Yadier Molina, a Dexter Fowler, who's a switch hitter, Harrison Bader, really good price on Harrison Bader, $2,500 on FanDuel. I like this entire lineup. I think this lineup could absolutely go off. And one thing that's not that doesn't always show up when you start looking at people doing MLB research, they're taking a look at implied totals, over under, all things that you want to research, obviously. But this game's in Milwaukee, right? And we're in the spring still. I understand, but it's still March, and there's going to be a lot of sunshine tomorrow, but there's going to be a lot of 50-degree temperatures. This is Milwaukee. A lot of runs get scored here. It's a very good hitters environment. With the big, huge batters that they got in center field. I just think that this St. Louis team, they've been a competitive team for a long time. They just put Paul Goldschmidt in the middle of their order. Miles Mikolas did a great job coming in last year and being a solid starter for them. I think he's in a good spot as well. He's like right below Berrios for me as a GVP play and as a starting pitcher. So I like this whole lineup, including Mikolas as a pitcher. I think this is a really good spot for St. Louis.
Oh, man. Hey, honest, though, the Dodgers were, down on my list, all right? That's just GPP. There's some obvious spots tomorrow. You get some Yankees, get some Cubs, get some Phillies, and I really like the Cardinals as well. I think that's a really good call.
Full disclosure, we had another team on here, but I just said to you, bro, you want to pick the Dodgers and talk about the Dodgers.
Hey, it's opening day, man. Come on, give me a break. But hey, so that's what we got for you guys. Opening day. Hey, you got some time. Go check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Get our MLB season package. Use promo code MLB50. Hey, let's have some fun tomorrow, win some money, and let's have a great season. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck tomorrow. Peace out.